Hello everybody, Flik here and welcome to my March 2018 channel update. This might be a little bit brief because the dog just woke up. She's encouraging me, let's say, to throw a toy for her, not for me, right behind me. I did try and have her up on my lap to show you how much she's grown in just 1 month, but she's not having any of it because she wants to play. But you can see lots of pictures of her on Twitter, as always, and yeah, she is getting very big. She is growing at an exponential rate. I don't think puppies are fully grown until like 6 months, so she might end up bigger than Maya, I'm not sure, we'll see. But anyway, we're here for another update. I'll be going over what's been happening with YouTube and Twitch. But first, as always, we're going to do the Patreon shoutouts for those who supported the channel last month. And while I do so, I will show off both fan art the channel has received and also pictures of doggos, cats, and everything else that you lot have sent me on Twitter. I'll probably have to ask again for some more towards the end of next month, because I think I might mostly run out for this one. But anyway, let's get started. So thank you to the following people. Here, there we are. Sean Fortune, Lord Psychon, Zappawork, Stormbolter83, Flying Ricer, Jeannie McElroy, Taya Blake, Emma B, Taylor DeCray, Ryan Winthrop, pardon me, Link of Toons, Belinda Orr, Stephen Whittaker, I think, Jergali Andres Bella, I have probably butchered that and I apologise. Azoy Origin, Rash, Brad84CNC, Stefan Sergetson, Steve Charchan, Michael Comer, Solus Corvus, Cuppy, Nathan Norton, Rydog1391, Platypus Custard, Robert Green, Brian Hasu, Charlie Abrams, Chemically Rad, Jim Freer, Rebecca Trexler, Smash Tuba 28, Jason Kivadal, Andrew Northwarp, Matsamuni, Jason... My reading comprehension is just terrible today. I said Jason, it's Julia. I should point out actually that hay fever gets exceptionally bad for me towards the end of March and definitely in April, so taking a lot of antihistamines and whatnot right now, which are probably affecting me a little bit. Anyway, Julia Wasberg, Yannick Mias, Going to La La Land, Tim Lothar, Ian Dickinson, OK Tone D, A Valiant Effort, Eric Reynolds, Kevin Mazer, Matthew M, Dan PD, Duke X, Cahill Dugan, Julia Cheng, Dudak, Hawks13, Brian Halligan, Timothy Saban, Jared Tabor, Thaxton, Kevin Towers, Drizzen, David Brown, Shotzi322, Megan Perry, Ayamada, I think, Amarpo Kyrie, Charles Baker, Lauren the Niflum, Ryan Hafner, Richard Davison, Loista, Seb, Peter, Brett M. Kelly, Trent Lunsford, Michelle Lamers, Erox, Colin Lynch, Michael Bigler, Ginger C, Terrell Smith, Reaper, Rachel Weber, Yifan Mai, James Woody Packard III, Derek Williams, Rivery Geralt, Iguxi, Andy Arminio, that one guy with the face, Garrett Taylor, Galactics, Iguyon, the newbie, and that is it. And that is a lot of names, as per usual. So thank you very much for your continued support. Definitely need it right now. As always, July. I should stop taking as much hay fever medication. January and February, very slow months for YouTube and Twitch, really. March isn't much better, sadly, and I don't really mean that just from a monetization view, because, you know, ad revenue is in the toilet, just in general. Views on YouTube are way down. In fact, they're basically back down to what they were at before Overwatch kind of elevated my channel, let's say. I have tried to course correct a little bit. I went back to my bright window in case it isn't obvious there. Trying things like Subnautica, and I am glad that a certain contingent have taken to Subnautica. I'm enjoying playing it. I don't think it's going to be a super long series. I don't have too many things left to do in it. But it's going to be like 30 parts, probably. Maybe a little bit more depending on how much side stuff I do, because I know I have missed some things that aren't necessarily required to escape and win. Like there's biomes I don't think you need to visit, but I might do just to see them. We'll see. But anyway, yeah, I've been trying to do that. We had that short run series that will be ending in a couple of nights' time. In fact, it might end on the night you're hearing this, of just playing through all the levels in Vermintide 2. We're still playing it on stream every so often with Twitch integration on and on the higher difficulties, but in terms of like on YouTube, I just wanted to have like a run through of each of the levels to have a... Technically, it's a complete playthrough because we do the final mission. You'll be seeing that, as I say, maybe even tonight. If not tonight, then Tuesday night will be the final episode. So I am trying to do, like, I don't want to describe it as like chasing views. I'm trying different things while also kind of maintaining the core of the channel with Monster Hunter, with Isaac, Not really many indie games right now catching my attention for doing look-ats. I do have a couple that I might end up covering, but not too many. And the stream side has been hampered by my upload just randomly going to crap again and staying crap, and I've tried to pursue all the options to get better upload, and it's not available because I'm still too rural, annoyingly. If I lived in like a place that was just a few miles closer to civilization, would have been fine, but sadly not. So it annoys me that I can't put out like a visual quality on Twitch that I would prefer. But thankfully the people who have stuck around don't seem to care. A lot of people just kind of listen to the stream rather than watch, which is also why I can get away with playing games like Civ, I think. Which I'm actually genuinely surprised that the Twitch side has taken to me playing Civilization 6 pretty well, and like they're getting into it, which I didn't expect to happen. It's not coming over to YouTube because I don't think it's a YouTube game, and again, I'm kind of trying to limit everything I take over from Twitch, outside of a few exceptions, because the bitrate makes it look so bad. For whatever reason, Siege I think looks fine, but it also involves a lot of standing still watching corners. But other things, like Civ 6, you're moving around the map constantly, and it's a very bright, filled map, so now I don't think there's a audience for it on YouTube anyway. So that is on the YouTube side, as is The Division. We've been playing that a little bit on stream. Any of these things, though, you can just go to Twitch and go to past broadcasts, and they're there. They're there for like a month at least. I think maybe 6 weeks if you're a partner. They are there to watch, and watching them there still supports if you want, but watch them only if you're interested. I don't want you to go out of your way to watch something you're not particularly fond of, let's say. But yeah, the Twitch side, we're playing a little bit of Vermintide, we're playing The Division, we're playing Rainbow Six, we're playing Monster Hunter. Honestly, the biggest variety of things I'm playing right now is the Twitch side. The core side on YouTube. Bloodborne will be finishing on... Ooh, if it isn't already finished by the time you hear this, it'll be a couple of days. The final part will be going up. 34 is the final episode. So that'll be finished. As I say, Subnautica, it'll be around probably for the lion's share of April, but towards the end of April it'll probably finish up. Other than that, still have Isaac and miscellaneous things like Monster Hunter. It's kind of cut back now to long VODs. I think I mentioned that last month, but it's for people who want it. It's still there, and it's still kind of like in the podcast long form where you can just kind of leave it running and hear us blathering away. Devil Joe's been added to the game, so I did a unique video on that, and then we hunted him for 4 hours. There's a VOD coming where it is 4 hours of us playing Monster Hunter World, and 99% of it is just us fighting Devil Joe. If that gets any kind of view that goes beyond 1 hour, I'll be very surprised. I think at the end of the video, I don't want to, I've given it away now, because this is going to like make people skip to the end of the video to see, but I think at the end of the evening I said something like, if you made it X amount of time into this video, do this hashtag so I know you made it. Wish I hadn't said that now, because that's going to give it away and people will just skip to find it probably, but still, I did that because I am curious. That's probably pushing the limits of someone wanting to listen to something as a podcast. 4 hours is a little extreme, but at the same time I didn't want to split it up because we were just doing the one thing. We were farming pickles, and we had a kind of contest going on for who could get the most gems in that period of time. But other than that, in terms of things upcoming, I genuinely, I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss right now with the YouTube side. I did say that when I started this new year, I was just going to try and focus on things I wanted to do, because either way things were going down anyway, so why not play stuff you enjoy? At the same time, you've got to worry about actually maintaining or growing an audience so that this is maintainable. Before Overwatch took off, and you can go back to previous channel updates to hear this, this was before I could do Twitch as well though, if YouTube was this bad as it was just before YouTube took off and it was my only source of income, it wasn't going to maintain like being possible. So we're back to there in terms of like YouTube, but thankfully we still have Twitch and Patreon. So the whole thing together is still fine. But if one part of this kind of like delicate situation was to break, then it wouldn't be. So I don't know. I don't even know. I'm bringing it up because it is a point of news. It's something that's obviously on my mind right now. A vast majority of my subscribers obviously joined for Overwatch. Don't really have much interest in playing Overwatch anymore. I'm kind of past it now. I mean, well, I'm kind of past it, but also my interest in the game is kind of past it as well. Doesn't really appeal to me. I'm not saying I'll never play it again, but they're pushing all this esports garbage, and it's like, to me, whenever anyone talks to me about competitive esport level Overwatch, all I can imagine is them saying the same thing about TF2, and I don't mean the base game of TF2, which you could argue is moderately balanced enough to be competitive. I'm meaning TF2 as it is now, with lots of different hats and guns that aren't necessarily better than each other, just slightly different and confusing, and nobody cares about balance anymore because it's just a vehicle for money for Valve. And in Blizzard's case, Overwatch is just their vehicle for money now, and they see their most money in esports. They don't see it in the loot boxes. I think they foresaw the pushback against loot boxes coming, and their answer was to heavily pursue the esports industry because they know it can make a lot of money from things like they've done in the past, like StarCraft and whatnot. So they're pushing the angle that I don't like. So I kind of lost interest in Overwatch, and I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to pretend to enjoy something I don't. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. It's turning out bleaker than I thought it would. I didn't mean it to be that way. Really, it's only the YouTube side. Twitch, obviously viewership is down as well, but the people who stick around on Twitch are incredibly generous for one, and there's enough of them that we can still get a conversation going. I can still get stuff to talk about, and we have back and forths and terrible puns and whatnot. So that side isn't as bad, but I don't know, I'm looking for the next big thing, and I can't even ask for advice really because no one really knows. Like, who could have foresaw that Fortnite Battle Royale would utterly eclipse to a ridiculous, embarrassing degree PUBG when PUBG was so huge just less than a year ago? There's all these shifts in gaming that you don't really see coming, and I have tried in the past before to kind of escape that by trying to do my own thing, like a failed, here, let me review a trailer, and here's all the things that are wrong with the trailer, and here's things I like. I need something like that, something that's unique, but that, again, that's not something I can ask for. In the meantime, until I'm struck with inspiration, I guess, things will be carrying on as I said. I'm still just going to soldier through, and as long as all 3 sections are still kicking along, this can continue for now. So, I mentioned this on the YouTube community thing, which I've started to use a bit more now. Plans for the summer? On the stream side, maybe. Again, it's the bitrate is a problem to me. I know it's not a problem to most of you, but it's a problem to me. Stream side, War of the Chosen modded playthrough, or in the summer, randomizer Dark Souls 2. That's the rough plan. It depends. I'm not getting a lot of time to record during the day, which is another pain in the ass that everything I port over from the stream looks terrible because of the crappy bitrate I have to use. Now that Sora's getting a bit older, she's not napping as much as when a newborn puppy does. Like, puppies are like active 2 hours, they sleep 3 hours, they're active 2 hours, and it keeps going like that. She has 1 or 2 naps a day. Like, just before I started recording this, she was napping after her morning walk. She didn't even last an hour before she was up and wanted me to play, as I said at the start. She's behind me now chewing the carpet, I think. Nope, she's chewing on one of her toys. Point is, though, she wants me to play with her. She's full of energy, and I can't walk her enough to exhaust her yet because she's still growing, and you're not supposed to do that. I'm working off advice from the vet. Did I say Yvette? The vet. Again, I don't know. Also, I think that's probably partially because I have all these things on my mind recently. I've noticed, like, during streams and during recordings, I've been mixing my words up a lot recently, and I think that's because at the back of my head I'm just thinking of, like, other things that I should maybe be doing. That's not the right way to say it. See, even that is not the thought I wanted to bring across. It's not worry. I don't want it to come across as worry, and I'm worried about it coming across as worry. I'm meaning, like, strategizing, I guess. At the back of my head I'm strategizing, and also, I think I did mention this on at least a couple of streams. With Sora, like, there's a certain portion of my brain that has to be constantly aware of what she's doing, because sometimes she eats her own poop, sometimes she eats rocks, sometimes she tries to eat my wires and kill herself by getting electrocuted. So usually it's like 50-50 commentary, gameplay, or, you know, vice. That swings a little bit. Sometimes you focus more on the gameplay, like something like Siege, I'm less banter focused and more trying to do well. Something like Isaac, I can kind of just play it passively, so it's more like think of things to talk about rather than focus on the gameplay. But in all these equations now, there's this third random rogue element in the form of the dog behind me, and it throws me off. So if people have stopped watching as a result of maybe my commentary not being up to par, I think my gameplay hasn't suffered in any particular game really. Maybe Slay the Spire, maybe Siege a little bit, although Siege we've kind of played it a bit less, so I'm getting a bit rusty. But in terms of commentary, I think that might be due to me being a little bit distracted and not being as articulate as I usually like to be. Even in this vlog, I felt like, oh god, just start over and do it again, or do an edit. Make that thought more coherent. Find your words properly. I called Julia Jason, for goodness sake. But anyway, I'm rambling now, and I'm very obviously rambling. So I think we'll call that there. Again, I'm not moping, I'm not whining, I'm not asking necessarily for advice, because I know for a fact there's really no advice to give here. I have the subscriber base, it's just they're not watching what I do. And I was going to say there's nothing I can do about that. There probably absolutely is, I just don't know what it is yet. So I will keep soldiering on. Thank you to those of you who do watch the videos, I greatly appreciate it. As I said, there's series ongoing, some are finishing, some are coming down the line. On the Twitch side, it's kind of, there's a big mishmash of different stuff. Certain things are not being ported over to the YouTube side, so if you're interested, you have to go over there to watch. Kingdom Hearts, The Division, Civ, I think that's it, in terms of things that might be important, anyway. But yeah, okay, let's wrap this up. Thank you very much. If you have a pet of any kind, doesn't need to be a dog, that you want to see included while I read out the many names from Patreon, look for me asking on Twitter towards the end of April, because I do think I'll need some more. So thank you again for watching, just in general, not necessarily just this video, just in general, be it on stream or YouTube. Greatly appreciate it. I'm going to go play with the dog now. Thank you for watching, and I will see you for the channel update in April. Until then, ta-ta for now. If you stuck around for the end of the video, this is like 10 seconds after I finished recording. The dog desperately decided to want up onto my lap for a cuddle, so I'm letting you see. What are you doing? What are you doing, Trouble? Hey, look how big she's gotten. Compare that to when she was on my lap at the start of last month. She is tiny. She's also biting my finger. But, you know, she's cute and wants a cuddle, so I suppose it's a small price to pay to have my finger be bitten. Dog. You see that? You see that? That's a camera. You see it? It's looking at you. Yeah? Anyway, that was a bonus for anyone who stuck around. Bye-bye.